This week in 1953, Jet magazine featured this person in its Mr. and Mrs. section, possibly the only person ever featured there who was a Mr. and a Mrs. rolled into one, biologically speaking. This person was not a celebrity or politician or anyone of significant historical importance, just a plain old everyday civilian like you and me who got involved in some hot mess. Well, maybe not exactly like us. I'll read the story, then show you a few follow-up stories, and you can decide if this person was like you. Let's get into it. But first, if you like these videos about the most scandalous people from yesteryear who make the hot mess history with Ty Said What Ty Said channel a time capsule for the culture, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know every time that I upload one of these videos or every time that I live stream. And to comment, I subscribed in the comment section so that I can say hello to you. Now, on to why you are here. Today's story comes from this issue of Jet magazine, dated June 18th, 1953. The article is titled, Male Shake Dancer Plans to Change Sex, Wed GI in Europe. And it reads, quote, in New York, a 26-year-old shake dancer and professional female impersonator announced plans to go to Europe in August for an operation to become a woman so that he can marry a U.S. Army sergeant. Charles Robert Brown of Pittsburgh told Jet he has arranged with doctors in Bonn, Germany for an operation that will make him female so that he can marry Sergeant Eugene Martin, 24, now stationed in Frankfurt, Germany. Brown claimed he and Sergeant Martin have been corresponding for 2.5 years and have known each other since they were children. We'll be married as soon as I am legally a woman, said Brown. If Brown's plans are realized, he will become the first Negro transvestite in history to transform his sex. Transvestism, which is a desire to wear the clothes of the opposite sex, appears to be Brown's condition. On a recent trip to New York, he packed only one lady's suit, but after his operation, which will probably take place in Germany this fall, he hopes to discard male clothing for good. A veteran of 6 months in the U.S. Navy, Brown describes himself as a shake dancer. When he works, he earns from $10 to $15 a night. He has appeared in Boston and Pittsburgh nightclubs. He claims he volunteered for the Navy in 1950 in order to obtain medical treatment for chronic rectal and nasal bleeding, which he insists still occurs regularly each month. The bleeding lasts for 3 days and then stops. Has been going on for the past 4 years, Brown declares. When he was admitted to the U.S. Naval Hospital in Philadelphia in July 1950, he was treated for a serious mental illness. Brown said his illness merely consisted of a passion to become a female. One doctor diagnosed his condition as due to the abnormal existence in his system of female glands, Brown says. He adds that an operation to remove these glands was recommended. Brown said he opposed such an operation, preferring instead to have his male sex organs removed by surgery. He wrote to surgeons in Germany, Denmark, and Yugoslavia, asking for help in changing his sex. He was informed that the laws of these countries forbade such operations on foreigners. Dr. Christian Hamburger of Copenhagen told him that if he gave up his U.S. citizenship, he could have the operation performed in Denmark. Brown wrote to Dr. Thomas Deller, West German Minister of Justice, requesting legal advice. He says he replied that such an operation could be performed in Germany only if he became a resident of the country and took steps to become a citizen. Brown told Jet that if necessary, he would become a citizen of West Germany in order to have his sex changed. I just want to become a woman as quickly as possible. That's all, Brown insisted. I'll become a citizen of any country where I can receive the treatment that I need and be operated on. Brown says he applied for and received a passport for travel in Europe. Treatment of Brown will start with hormone and cortisone injections. Operation will involve amputation of his sex organs and plastic surgery. Electrolysis will be used to remove facial hair. End quote. The very next month after this story ran, Charles Brown was arrested in Boston for posing as a woman. A subsequent article ran in this July 9th issue of Jet, and it explains that Charles was held overnight because he was unable to pay the $5 bail amount. That's only about $55 today in 2022. Charles was downtown in Boston wearing a woman's coat suit that he had purchased earlier that same day. And Boston had laws on their books prohibiting men from wearing women's clothing in public. His manager bailed him out. Charles Brown was in Boston to work. He had booked a few gigs in Boston and even New York to work as a female impersonator. He was trying to save money to buy a ticket to board the SS Holland and go to Europe for his surgery and eventual marriage. His money was so low that even after he purchased his ticket, he would still need to work on the ship to pay his way. He was so down and out, while living in Boston, he would regularly sell his blood for $5 a pint, just to have money for food and to rent the room where he was boarding. The following week, in this July 16th issue of Jet, there's this photo of Charles striking a pose, showing the correct technique to display legs. This photo was published the week after the story about his arrest, but this photo was actually taken the night that he got arrested, before he got arrested. Then, just 3 weeks later, in this August issue of Jet, there's a change of plans for Charles Brown. He announced that he would postpone the sex change and wedding to stay in America and get a facelifting operation that would give him the face of a woman. He specifically wanted the face of blues singer Tamara Hayes and admitted that he had always envied her face but was excited at the prospect of soon having her face on his body. This is Tamara Hayes, so Charles was planning on going from looking like this to looking like her. He said that he would not leave behind his female impersonator friends after his operation. In their defense, he said, quote, "I feel that female impersonators are being denied their right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness when they are arrested for wearing female clothes, especially when they are minding their own business." End quote. Then, 2 months later, in this October issue of Jet, there was a report of another hiccup in Charles Brown's plan to get the sex change. It turns out that Charles had a sizable tax debt, and the U.S. federal government was not letting him leave the country until he paid it. Charles owed $1,200 in back income taxes. That's the equivalent of $13,000 today. And we know that if Charles was selling his blood just to get by, he didn't have $1,200 to pay the government. So he took a temp job as a cook at a frat house at Iowa State College. An unidentified white teacher vouched for Charles to get him the position. It paid $60 a week. Even if Charles would have put every cent of his earnings toward his debt, which we know that he didn't because he would have needed money for living expenses, it would have taken him 5 months to pay off his debt. Charles planned to take nightclub bookings for extra cash and study Swedish in his spare time. And in case you thought that this job didn't have any perks, the members of Phi Kappa hinted that they might elect Charles as their house queen. I don't know if the fraternity brothers went through with that or not. Actually, I don't know anything else about Charles Brown. The trail goes cold after these stories that were published in Jet in 1953. We can only guess what became of Charles Brown. So, what do you think happened? Did he ultimately pay his tax debt and go to Europe to get his operation and marry his soldier? Did he get the facelift and live in America with a new name? Did he not change a thing and never get out of debt? Type your guess in the comments section. Do you know who else's life story seems to vanish into thin air? Kitty Jewell, after she divorced her fake African prince in 1902. I published a video about that story that you can see here. I will also leave a link to it in the description box. If you want text notifications so that you can get a text 15 minutes before I release a video or 15 minutes before I live stream, simply send a text to 786-632-2135 to let me know that you want text, and you will get an outgoing text message 15 minutes before I have a new video release. If you have a business, product, service, YouTube channel, or social media account that you would like to promote on my channel, email me at tiwan@tisaidwhattisaid.com to get rates for advertising on my community tab, my live streams, and or my edited videos, just like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ty Said What Ty Said channel. Please leave a thumbs up and comment so that we can get a discussion going. And share this video on all of your social media, especially your Facebook. That really helps me out a lot. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know when my next video is ready for you. And if you don't like what I'm saying, but you love it, feel free to hit that applaud button just below your video screen there and send me some
donations.
Yeah, baby. See you on the next video.